that once a company decides they're going to be in a technology business, now they're positioning themselves against global competitors. And you have to know what's happening internationally and globally so that you can position yourself appropriately, correct?
Yes, I can give you examples. You know, in this sector, I met some companies, new companies. I was interested in more in the medical field. So you see some very nice, very, I believe, good technologies, could be good products as well. But the people don't know exactly how to develop, you know, a product to the market. You know, in this field, what is very crucial is the clinical trials and the regulatory items. When they were asked some questions about it, they didn't know what to answer.
Okay.
So that surprises me, you know, because if you deal with medical equipment, medical device, medical drug, whatever, you first have to know what are the difficulties ahead, because, you know, regulatory can kill a product if it's toxic, for instance. And they, you know, they don't expect it when they put a business plan on the table. They don't realize that it's going to cost them much more money to do these all clinical trials. They're just interested in the technology, which is good, you know, to see if it works.
Sure.
I think they did something great because they have the proof of concept of their product, which is nice. But now, you know, from there to a product is a long way. So cooperation here with other companies, with experienced companies, which you can find, you know, or experienced funds, medical funds that can invest in these companies, can do a lot good for them and for the investor.
How or where can the international venture capitalists play in the development of that company? What role can they play?
They typically have seen the film before, how to grow a company and how much it costs. They can, together with the entrepreneur, reassess the needs and the cost of deploying their value proposition internationally. They can help them to introduce them to partners, to customers. They can work with the Russian company in the go-to-market strategy. And they can also help them to recruit abroad the right caliber of people to ensure that they will be successful in their endeavor to grow in the international market, because we see too often a company that is trying to do everything by themselves with the people that they have.
Okay, so one of the action items that the domestic Russian venture capitalist needs to do is to continue to have an outreach program to the international community, even if their companies are strictly for the domestic market, because you can do this skill transfer, this technology transfer between different groups, yeah? In terms of growing companies.
Absolutely. I think exchanges are very important. We could even consider more exchanges between associating venture capital firms in Russia and foreign VCs established in the US or in Europe.
And if you took these companies that you've seen so far, and if you put them into Italy, or if you put them into France, what would be your opinion of them in those countries versus if you saw them when you've seen them here in Russia?
I'm not sure I will consider them differently, apart from the fact that I would probably have more reference point to judge or to assess, let's say, the skills of the team and etc., which are not biased by maybe some language barrier or skills that, you know, are typically more. It's easier to conduct due diligence and to have some cross-reference checks when you are closer to the market.
If these companies were in Europe, that they would already have done probably their first or second round of financing, and it'd be easier to be able to check out the management team and the entrepreneurs who are the driving force behind this company, right? So my question is, what kind of reference points could they develop to make the international side more comfortable with first talking to them, and second, doing due diligence? Forget about right now investment.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you something, but I'm not sure that what I'm saying is right or wrong. But I would look at the Russian entrepreneurs, the Russian tech environment or tech infrastructure, whatever you want to call it, more to US and Israel than to Europe. Europe is, as this Italian guy told you, he's there to make due diligence or to invest in an early stage company. It's not their cup of tea. They like late stage companies, they don't like
Absolutely.
risk, and they are slowerly do their work, which is okay. I mean, but this is where they are. Here it's different. Here, if you have a dynamic type of industry of entrepreneurs and a different pace of doing things, that's what I see, which looks like more Silicon Valley, Boston, Israel. You need different things. So you need more aggressive funds that can push you, can give you money, and do what we think is the best thing to do. And why it's better for Russian entrepreneurs to be linked to them is because they are focused more on the results.
Okay.
Here, I think still people or entrepreneurs are still focused on the proof of concept of they like the product they do, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
All of them want to be rich, to make money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But but they do what they know, and they don't know about the business. So in a way, it's kind of a barrier for them, in their mind. So let's do what we know. We can take care of all the business later. And for that, you need trust between the business people and the entrepreneur. Then they can work parallelly and do things in shorter time.
Another interesting observation was that a lot of the companies we talked to had their ask in terms of the amount of money they needed was sometimes a small amount. €1 million was what they needed for capital requirements. And a lot of the investors that we bring to the tech tour are investors that are looking to deploy capital that is significantly more than that. So maybe the aspirations aren't quite as big as they could be, given the technology and the super ideas that we discovered on this tech tour.
Right. But I mean, is the amount of capital that they're trying to raise, is it that they're underestimating how much capital they need, or it's the amount of capital they need to grow their business to the next level in this domestic market, or to maybe make their first entree in international markets? So they're correctly matched.
It is not unusual that a company is going to need more capital than they think, because an entrepreneur is likely, very frequently, does not want to give up more equity of the company than he has to, and he doesn't realize what the real cost of international expansion is. The marketing capability, the expertise on the ground in the markets that he wants to enter, are sometimes significantly more than an entrepreneur who's done it himself in a local market. Doesn't recognize what it takes to do in an international and a global market.
If you compare these companies to some of your what you call your Israeli counterparts, how would you compare them in terms of their strengths and weaknesses, advantages and disadvantages?
Well, I think that on the technology side, I cannot judge, because I didn't see too many, but there are some good ideas, good companies or good technologies or good scientists, but some are better, some are same as in Israel. I think in Israel, the entrepreneurs and the funds are now aware much more about the business cycle or the business way of this product that they develop than the Russian ones.
So they're more aware in Israel than they are in Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
And the Russian looks to me now is still in the period of they're more naive, which is good in one way.
Sure.
On the other hand, the good thing about it that they believe in their product and they are devoted. You see that they are devoted. They want to succeed. Mm-hmm. In some cases, by the way, they have good investors, angel investors, or good businessmen, but they are lacking the technology side. So in Israel today, because you have a second-time entrepreneurs and they are becoming also investors, you see much more cooperation and understanding between entrepreneurs and angels, which is very important. Here, I see only a few examples, so I cannot say, but at least 2 companies that I see the investor, who is a businessman, did not understand exactly the technology, and not always is good, as you